what? And red in the book too. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great. And turn them from darkness to light.
On these people, it's going to pursue them, they're going to destroy them, and they're going to be assigned to them. Like how we know we at Walmart is because the sign shows, right? Right, so we know we at Walmart is because the sign shows us, right? Right, just like these curses, it's going to be a sign, it's going to show us who are God's chosen people, who are the Israelites, because they still here on the earth. We're going to find out who they are. We're going to finish that out.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So upon thy seed forever. So forever just meaning everlasting time, right? So let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 16.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
So the Israelites gonna be cursed in the city and also cursed in the field. So when you go into America anywhere, or we at Richmond, who is cursed in the city? Who's in predominantly in the lowest estate of all the in every city? You said so-called black people? Right, so black people. We got the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? They in the lower conditions in every, I should say, neighborhood or communities, right? And then also, read that next part, King.
Verse number 17. So like in 16 again. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
Also cursed in the field. So who is known to be cursed in the field? Right? The slave field, the cotton field, the sugarcane field, the food field. Hey, all these things, hey, it showed these are the signs that the Most High has given us, right? So being cursed in the city and also cursed in the field, we went through that, right? As a people, right? Let me get Deuteronomy 28:32.
28:32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
They should be what?
They shall be given unto another people.
So they should be given unto another people. That's also going to what? Slavery as well, right? So when they take you from Master Johnson plantation, and then they send you all the way across the Atlantic Ocean or whatever, and now you in a Master Smith, teacher, right? That's also a curse too. And we went through that. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Let's close it home for sister. Let me get 2nd Ezra chapter 1 and 7. Read this up.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So the Lord said he's going to bring thee into Egypt again. Do you know what the Israelites was doing in Egypt? Okay, let's get Exodus chapter 1 and verse 13. You got it, King?
This is the book of Exodus chapter 1 and verse 18.
13.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor.
Serve with what?
Serve with rigor.
So the children of the Egyptians make the children of Israel serve with rigor, meaning hard bondage, hard labor, right? So all them pyramids that you see over there, all them monuments, all these statues, the Israelites made it, right? Continue on, King.
And they made their lives bitter.
They made their was what?
And they made their lives bitter.
They made their lives bitter, right? Continue on.
With hard bondage.
What?
With hard bondage.
Hard bondage. So when you go into that, that's what the Israelites was doing in Egypt, having hard bondage. And literally, Egypt literally means bondage. Let's get that in Exodus 20 and 2. Oh, you got so like again.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 1 and verse 7.
Read it out.
Am not I even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage?
From where?
From the house of bondage.
They was in bondage. They was in slavery, right? Right, King? If you know about the Bible, King? That the Israelites were in slavery in Egypt, right? Would you say that's correct, sister?
Yes, I'm following y'all.
Okay, all praise to the Most High. All praise to our sides. So the Israelites were in slavery in Egypt, right? Building the pyramids and the monuments that you see over there today, right? So let's go back to Deuteronomy 28:68. So that's what the word Egypt means in Deuteronomy 28:68. So we're gonna read it. Thus said the Lord, and we're gonna see who fits this curse. Because the first curse was cursing the city, cursing the field. Hey, your sons and your daughters will be given into another nation, right? And then also this curse that we about to read all the way through, right? So how did our people get over here into America? How did our people get over here to America? By slave ships, right? Would we all agree with that? Slave ships, right? Even if you say, hey, the Native Americans came over, even they came over in ships in the captivity with the Assyrians, right? So let's finish this out.
Deuteronomy 28:68 again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So he's gonna bring them back to Egypt again, our bondage, our slavery, right? By what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
So with ships. So the Most High God said, hey, these curses is gonna be pursue them and overtake them and destroy them, right? So if these curses, hey, we could what's the word? We could relate to them. We could relate to them. Who is God talking to? He's talking to us, right? Would you say that, sister? He's talking to us. What about you, brother? He be talking to us, and that what makes us what? God shows the people, right? Because he's talking to the Israelites, and we could get that in. Let's go Deuteronomy 1:1, right? And to show you that he's only talking to the Israelites and nobody else.
Deuteronomy chapter 1:1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
To who?
Unto all Israel.
Speaking to all Israel. So he's not speaking to none other nation that's in the Bible, right? So he said these things that, hey, these curses are going to pursue us and overtake us, and we're going to be destroyed by them. And he listed all the curses, right? So if we fit all these curses, like you said, hey, it's undoubtedly true that we are the Israelites. We are God's chosen people. We should be above all these nations on the earth, right? But the question is, why are we not? Do we ignorant, right? Not following the law, and that's the ding answer, right? Because that's the ultimate. That's why we got into the curses. When we read, let's get Deuteronomy 28:15.
Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice.
Now what?
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
What?
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So that's the reason why we in this captivity today. That's the reason why our people went into slavery on ships. That's why we living in the poverty cities. That's why the so-called white man is above us when he needs us for everything. Right? We literally to make the world go around this thing. But he's ruling this society. Why is that when we're the best ever? We the best cooks. Hey, we invented everything, the stoplight, everything that we need we invented it, you know. So, do anybody know any commandments that we have to keep? Because that's the ultimate reason why we're in this predicament. Hey, brother, no adultery.
Thou shalt not.
What you say?
Thou shalt not.
Thou shalt not kill. That's right. That's right. What about you, brother? Any commandments? Yeah. Hey, that's one. That's a big one. That's a big one. Hey, a lot of our people bear false witness. So y'all kind of name a couple of I should say they call it the Big Ten. Well, he said one that's not in the Big Ten, but in Exodus chapter 20 verse 8. Let's get this, King, because a lot of people don't know about this day that we should keep it.
Verse number 8. It's all good. It says this: remember the Sabbath day.
Remember what?
Remember the Sabbath day.
Do y'all know what the Sabbath day is? You said Sunday? Is it? Is this Saturday? What you say, sister? Saturday. Because when you look at a calendar, it literally go S to S. Sunday being the first day, and Saturday being the last day of the week. And how we know that is because he states it, right? Continue on reading that.
Continuing on, it says, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So 6 days labor, do all thy work. Continue on, King.
Right? But the seventh day.
What?
But the seventh day.
Seventh day, which would be what? Saturday. If Sunday is the first day, Saturday has to be the last day, which is 7, right? So why do why do our people remember the Sabbath day as Sunday?
Because that's what the white man told us.
And that's ultimately what it is. Because when you go into history, you would know Emperor Constantine the first, they set up that day to integrate paganism and Christian, basically Catholicism together and make Christianity. That's what really what happened. So when you go into it, and it even shows you that he changed it from Saturday to Sunday when you go into the history, right? So, but we got to remember that's a commandment that we have to keep, right? So not upholding the Sabbath day, you'll be in sin, right?
That's right.
Because ultimately, if you in sin, then you're not really pleasing the Most High. So we can't. Let's get Nehemiah 10:31, right? Because there's certain, I should say, ordinance that you have to keep with regarding the Sabbath day. You got a question, brother? You got a flyer for the elder? You want them? Come, let's bring this out for the family.
This is the book of Nehemiah 10:31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
That we will what?
That we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
We don't buy, we don't sell, we don't trade, we don't do nothing on the Sabbath day.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, come. So on the Sabbath day, we don't buy, we don't sell, do anything, right? We rest and we observe the laws and we read the scriptures. And ultimately, we want to you want to rest from everything that you do for every day, because every day is not the rest of the Sabbath day is the high holy day. It's separate from all the other days, right? So you want to uphold it rightfully, or you will be in sin, right? So that's a commandment that's in Exodus 20, I should say, in the 10 commandments that our people don't keep, right? And do you also know that we also have a dietary law, right? What we should eat and what you shouldn't eat, right? So do y'all eat pork? Don't eat pork? Y'all ever ate pork? You never ate pork? All right, all praises. Yeah. All right, let's get this for the family, because we're gonna see what you got it, King. Okay. You're gonna see what the Most High God say about pork.
This book of Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7.
Do y'all eat crab, shrimp, or lobster, anything like that? Okay, we're gonna see what God said about those two.
Leviticus 11:7. And the swine.
And the what?
And the swine.
Swine is pork, right? Right? Let's see what he said.
Though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud.
He what?
Yet he cheweth not the cud.
What is it?
He is unclean to you.
He is what?
He is unclean to you.
He is unclean unto you. So the pork, and he's unclean. Hey, when you actually go into the science of a pig, it has a lot of parasites. It got a lot. That's why our people be having high blood pressure, gout, and all these different things diabetes, because that pig carries a lot of those diseases through the parasites. And they say what you eat, you gonna be the same, right?
Right.
So we gotta watch what you eat, and that's how the Most High God loves us. And He literally gave us a dietary law to show us how to be healthy in this world. You know, right? Let's continue. Verse 9.
Verse number 9.
I should read the next verse on that.
It says, I'm gonna finish it out. It says, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
So they what?
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
No pork bacon, no pork sausage, no ham on no days. You gotta keep it. You gotta abstain from that thing, right?
Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and of their carcass shall ye not touch.
So the carcass meaning dead body, right? So the pork will be dead, all them things will be dead. But continue on, we're gonna see about the sea right now.
They are unclean to you. Verse number 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the water. It's like it. Whatsoever have fins and scales.
So whatsoever have fins and scales. So you can eat anything out of water, but it has to have fins and scales. So what do we know that have fins and scales that come out of the water? Fish, right? But do all fish have fins and scales? Right. Catfish don't have scales. It got fins but no scales. It's slimy, right? So the crab, the shrimp, the lobster, what is it to you?
It's like it. It says Salaki, it says, finish it out, that have fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, them shall you eat. And all that have not fins and scales and seas.
So the crab, the shrimp, the lobster, the oysters, the calamari, they consider fine dining.
It says, and in the rivers of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing that is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
They should be what?
They shall be an abomination unto you.
So the pig, the clams, the lobster, the oysters, all them things are clean to you. So you got a question?
I do. So those animals that live down here, they are basically poop eaters.
Bottom feeders, right? Exactly. Same like
That's why we can't eat those.
exactly. It's like the pig in a sense, because the pig is the filtration of the land. So the crab, the shrimp, the lobster, the oysters, all those are the filtration of the water. They literally did studies on that. The one water that had clams and stuff like that, and the one water that didn't, you could tell the difference. Even like my brother always like to bring out, why you think the ocean looking like how it look? Because we eating all the crab, the shrimp, and the lobster. They digging that up, and they selling it at a high rate. When back in, like, I believe in the late 1900s, early 1900s, it was considered slop food. It was prison food. So now they feeding to us like it's delicacy when it's really not. According to the Bible, it's abomination to you. Let me and God, you got a point.
But I just want to say, like, I don't know if people familiar with having like fish tanks, but they put the algae eater in there because that cleans up the poop. And it's like the filtration of them. So that's just another thing of how the bottom feeders are. That's kind.
And brothers, and that's correct. And this will happen if you are consuming it, right? I'm gonna get Isaiah 66 and 15.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
So this is going into the end when Jesus Christ come back, right? So-called Jesus Christ.
To render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and with his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh.
What?
Will the Lord plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
It's gonna be many. He gonna slay many, right? Continue on.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh.
Eating what?
Eating swine's flesh. And the abomination.
And the abomination. So all the abominations that he said that you shouldn't do, this was gonna happen to you.
And the mouse shall be consumed together.
What?
Shall be consumed together.
So whatever you eat does matter. So anybody tell you, I can eat anything, God purify everything he made what's clean and what's not clean. He already stated that in the law. I showed you what's clean and I showed you what's not clean. And so if you are indulging in the swine, anything an abomination to you, he's gonna destroy you. And that's period, right? So you guys question, sister? It's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And Lord willing, we can answer through the Spirit. It's okay. It's okay. If you remember, sister, Lord willing, the Lord jog your memory through the Spirit, right? So, sister, before you go, sister, okay, come on. So, Lord willing, we could continue. So right now, the Most High gave us a day that we supposed to put aside for us. He gave us also a dietary law. Do y'all also know we have like?
Okay, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, my brother.
Okay, you go ahead, sister.
So I understand that the lease took out our pages and wrote his own little stuff.
You said say that one more time,
The
sorry.
lease, I call them white people. I just call
Okay, the white people, Edomites.
There you go, Edomites. So they took our Bible, read it, didn't like what they see, wrote whatever they wanted to write. So my question was like these Christians. Are Christians, I noticed a lot of Christians is our black people, our melon people.
Right.
So what is about our Christians? I have a foster mom that's so Christian that she thinks that crabs and shrimps and lobster and everything like that is what he gave us.
Right.
So what is difference?
Yeah,
And I
what's the
see y'all
difference?
a lot, and I follow a lot. So I
Yeah,
want to
appreciate
know.
it. Let me get spirit. That's the spirit. I was literally finna say, hey, get that from me.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse number 46. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth. To make a difference.
To make a what?
To make a difference.
Made a difference from Leviticus. You know, literally from the foundation of the earth, he made a difference, right? Because even Noah knew a clean and unclean beast. So the time of Noah, he knew unclean beasts. And now he's literally giving us a written law to show us what a clean beast and unclean, right?
Right. To make a difference between the unclean and the clean.
And the what?
And the clean.
Clean. So that's simple. So literally, if first of all, Christianity is a so-called white man religion, you know, and ultimately we don't deal with religion, huh? Okay, yeah, I was gonna get that. That's the spirit. So literally, the Christianity is a white man religion, right? But being actual Christian is different. So Christians literally mean Christ-like, or to be a follower of Christ.
That's right.
So if they saying I'm a Christian and they not doing anything Christ did, are they really Christians? No. And really, when you go into a Christianity, Christian is really a derogatory term. Because that's what they was telling that to the followers of Christ, right? Bring that out, King.
It's Acts 11:26.
Bring it
And
out.
when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch.
Right.
And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were first called Christians.
It was called what?
Were called Christians
It was called Christians. Where?
first in Antioch.
And Antioch.
So literally they was calling the disciples Christians, but not in a good term that how we got it today. But it was literally being externed because most of the people, I should say the higher up people, they didn't believe in Christ, right?
Well, that's over time. Greek mythology came into play because ultimately, when you even look in the society, the Greek and Roman society is still here. It's the same. The Edomites are Edomites. They got the same spirit, right? Because we was in the Greek captivity, and then we was in the Roman captivity. But it's all one and the same, in a sense, right? You got a point, King?
I just wanted to make a point on something that she said. Like she said, why is always like melanated people?
Yeah.
But ultimately, well, I know the brothers gonna talk, but I just wanted to, I had a precept on that. It said, because our spirit just bear witness with it, but it's not just so-called melanin. I mean, well, you can say it, but you got Black, Hispanic, Native Americans as well who are people. But they was even calling our people like derogatory terms like nigga and all these different things in the book. So, all kind of. And I want to get one precept on that, right? This is the book of Acts, chapter 13 and 1. It says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch and certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simon that was called nigger.
Called what?
Nigger.
And it was called niggers, even in the Bible. So that term ain't always been here. So you have to get that, King. So that term always been here. That was a mighty point. And ultimately, when you look, of course, our people, like the brother said, our spirit bear witness, but we always follow God because He's the God of us, right? He's our God, nobody else. So when we are, so-called want to praise Him, it's the only reason because why? That's our God, and we always searching out for God, right? You got to present that.
God, this is the book of Romans, chapter 10, and verse number 2, like the same thing, like your brother was saying too, like we always got that spirit or that zeal to follow the Lord. But this is why. It says this. It says Romans 10 and 2, for I bear on record that they have a zeal of God.
They have what?
They have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge.
According to what?
Not according to knowledge.
Not according to knowledge, right? So they stuck in Christianity, but when Christianity is really a umbrella to Catholicism. Catholicism literally is an umbrella to all other religions. When we know that Christianity was invented by a so-called white man, you could go to these so-called religions and you could get the predates to all of them, like when they started to now, right? So you could get all these things, right? So these things are now being hid in America. So with that being said, like the brother said, I have the zeal of knowledge according to the Most High, but are we actually following Christ and actually, loving Christ the way we should love Him, right? Right? So the first steps is actually what? Let me get Let me get 1 John chapter 5 verse 1. Right? Go ahead, sister.
Do the sisters and the brothers have two different commandments from the Messiah?
No, and I would say no and yes in a sense, because there's certain commandments that are for just women, and then there's commandments that we have overall as men and women and then children, right? Like for example, let's get why you in my spirit? Let me get Deuteronomy 22 and 5, and let me get I want to get 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9 first. It's chapters that's dedicated to women. There's books written about women, and you can read all about them, how their spirit was. You got it, King?
This 1 Timothy 2 and 9. In like manner also, that women adore themselves in modest apparel.
That women what?
Adorn themselves in modest apparel.
Women have to be in modest apparel, right? So when you go back to the law, it's going to show you what that modest apparel is. Bring that out, King.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So a woman should not wear that pertaining to a man.
Pants and jeans.
Pants and jeans, right? So, hey, the sister is on it, and she on fire, so she know that she shouldn't be wearing pants or jeans. That's right. Only what? What should women wear, sister? Dresses, skirts, not showing your figure, because ultimately jeans, sweats, all those things, they show your figure. That's not modest. Modest is not having your figure being shown. Hey, sister, you live in Cali. Well, you ain't worried about snow and rain. Oh, you can't. Okay. I'm sorry. Slacky. But we are in California, so there's ways to get around it. Usually a woman could wear if you want to wear sweats, wear your sweats under and then put a dress on or skirt, because it shouldn't show it, or put your leggings on, right? Leggings?
Not like y'all wear that. It's just like pants, basically pants.
I never.
I thought they called them like undergarments. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Leggings. That's more of I'm speaking as a man. I think those are for women. Like even like leggings is damn near like stockings in a sense, or like what they call them back in the day. They call it pantyhose, right? Pantyhose, right? Men don't wear pantyhose nor stockings, saying that's all along with leggings in a sense, because they the same material and they do the same thing, right? They just in modern time they do it better, so that over time they get better and better. So women, if it's cold, get you a nice puffer, put the leggings under, and you should be warm, or stay in the house. So there's ways to get around it. So if I ask you a question, sister, so wearing a dress, that's for women. Men, has to do what the men supposed to do. But like I said, we all have to keep the dietary law. We all got to keep the ceremonial laws. We all got to keep those type of laws. That's universal that we all could keep, right? So, you got any more questions, sister? That's okay. So, with that, and also women got to be a keepers at home as well. They got to be a feminine, a submissive to their man. And it's good. 1 Corinthians.
How do y'all put us females in the house or outside? The men.
Let's get that for the sister.
The Israelites, because I got one.
All y'all,
Wear their
fringes. Okay, I don't know. Presents are presents. Well, No, you got.
Okay, because the question was how we treat them.
How we treat them.
Okay, Con, this is the book of Ephesians chapter 5 in verse number, I'm going to start at verse number 24. It says, therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so that the wives be to their own husbands and everything.
Select it, King. Select it. So the women have to be in subjection to their men, right? Just like how we in subjection to Christ, Mashiach, right?
It says, husbands, love your wives.
Husband, what?
Husbands, love your wives.
So husbands got to love their wives, right? So if you love yourself, ultimately, if you love because ultimately we one flesh. So if I'm treating you wrong, then I'm definitely treating myself wrong, because we one flesh as a man and a wife. All right. So if I'm treating myself wrong, I'm treating you wrong in a sense. It's more than that, King?
It says, says Salaki, it says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it.
So we should be able to die for our wives. We should be able to protect them, upkeep them, and teach them, and have them in our care, in a sense, right? Because we ultimately, if you really think about it, we ultimately taking on what your father did, ultimately in another aspect, right? Everything that your father did, we literally taking that on, and now you're my, so-called possession, in a sense. Well, I'm gonna say possession.
Submit to you guys while y'all submit to the Most High.
Say that one more again. Rephrase it.
Submit to you guys while y'all submitted to
What?
the Most High.
Well, let's read that again.
It says, Salaki, husbands, love your. It's gonna continue on that too. But 24, Salaki. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ.
Actually, start at 23.
Okay, verse 23.
21.
Right? This Ephesians 5:21. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
So we gotta submit one itself to another, right? But it's levels to submitting, right? But we gotta make sure that if I'm submitting myself to my wife, I'm making sure that I'm doing everything I can for her. I'm not leading her astray, right? That's a way of a man submitting to his woman, not a man being literally underneath his woman.
Right.
But like I said, it's levels to it, right? Continue on, King.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord.
To your what?
As unto the Lord.
So that's how women gotta submit themselves to, like how we submit to the Lord, right? Continue on.
For the husband is the head of the wife.
So the husband is what?
For the husband is the head of the wife.
So just like how you said, let's get Leviticus 11 and 1, right? Or 2. Let's start at 2. So same way, we submit ourselves to the Most High God. Y'all have to, as women, have to submit yourself to us, because ultimately, what we your Lord, in a sense, just like Sarah called Abraham Lord. Bring that out, King.
Here's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all.
1 Corinthians 11, King. Salaki.
1 Corinthians chapter 11,
Salaki, I don't.
in verse number 2, and it reads thus. It says,
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 2. Now I praise thee, brethren, that ye remember in all things and keep the ordinances. I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and that the head of every woman is the man.
The head of every man is Christ, right? So when we go back to that, so we know, same way we submit ourselves to the Most High, the same way y'all gotta submit to us, right? Let's continue on that, King.
God, continuing on in the book of Ephesians.
If our brother don't,
Like they said. Remember this question, sister. I want to make sure we driving home for you.
Right? It says, for the, Salaki, starting at 23 again, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, let so the wives be unto their own husbands in everything.
Same way we serve Christ, the same way our women have to serve us, in a sense, in righteousness, not in wickedness and not in lewdness, right? All righteousness. Same way we submit to Christ, because he's the head of the church. Same way the man, he's the head of his home, or he's supposed to be the head of his home. That's how it's the order in this thing, right? You got any more precepts on that, King?
This is 1 Peter 3 and verse number 5. It says, for after this time, for after this manner, in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Being what?
Being in subjection unto their own husbands.
So women have to be in subject to their own husbands in this thing, right? Come on.
It says, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
Calling him what?
Calling him Lord.
Hey, calling him Lord. Just like we call Christ Lord, our women call us Lord, right? So, got one more precept, King? Come. Bring it out. I want to bring it
It's
out.
the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8. Bring it out. Right? On another thing, like you said, well, what do the men got to do, right? This 1 Timothy 5 and 8. But if any provide not for his own, especially for those in his own house, he have denied the faith.
Yeah, what?
He have denied the faith.
So a man have to provide for his home, right? He has to upkeep his home, protect his home, literally go out there and do the things that he need to do for his home, spiritually and physically, right?
And is worse than an infidel.
It's what?
And is worse than an infidel.
And he's worse than a non-believer, right? So, Lord, willing sister, we answer your question. we kind of balance it out with the,
Right,
with
right.
everything through the sense, right?
Got it.
You had another question, little sister? Got it, kind of forgot. So, ultimately, so like I want to make sure everything makes sense for you, sister.
I got it. My question is,
Go ahead.
how about if the brother ain't, got a lot of stuff going on, distracting himself for the Most High, but I'm so like into the spirit and this, and I do what I need to do. So how can we like come together? Because it seems like we clash a lot, and when I'm supposed to be, and I'm like the one that real cool, calm, collected, will talk to you. I know you're supposed to follow our man from the Most High, but how about if he like literally just off the course and I'm just only following him? We still can't go to the tropical paradise, huh?
Well, ultimately, like, so you basically saying like he's the one that's leading astray, but you're actually on the right path. But ultimately, like, I would say ultimately, and how should I say this? You got a point? You got precept. So ultimately, you have to follow that man, regardless. But ultimately, you able to work on your own salvation as well, and you got to make sure that you in order with the Most High as well. You got to make sure you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. Because ultimately, if the man is not doing everything he's supposed to do, you're not going to be doing what you're supposed to do because it trickles down to the spirit. You got a precept, King?
I just wanted to touch on that because that's a good question. You actually like, well, I believe and I'm following the Lord, but he kind of not doing. He in the world still, like just basically doing what he wants to. So it's I don't know. I want to just read this for you real quick. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, in verse number. I'm gonna start at verse 12, right? Because it's unisex, right? It says, well, actually, I'm gonna start at 10. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband, right? Because y'all, you know about it, and he don't, and y'all clashing probably because of you like, hey, the Lord said do this, and he like, I'm gonna do what I want. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just giving an example. It says, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. But the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife or a husband, right? That is both, right? Saying that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So like, yeah, he not believing, but you never know. He could come in. It may not be his time for it. The Lord said, the book of Ecclesiastes 3:1, it's your time to catch everything. Like you still probably got a lot to learn and from and the Lord bring you in, and then but your ways can be the example for him. Like the Lord said, we got to be the light to the Gentiles, right, to the non-believers. So, but if you do like the Lord said, hey, hair wrap, you got the dress, hey, serving the Lord, keeping the Sabbath, those ways can trickle onto him. Trickle down onto him. Like, oh damn, my wife doing this here. I'm gonna do this too, right? So those are different things. And ultimately, I'm gonna get one more thing. This Acts chapter 16, in verse number. I'm gonna start at verse number 30, right? Just touch on the same thing, like because I'm gonna read it. This is the book of Acts chapter 16 and 30. It says, and brought them out and said, sirs, what must I do to be saved? And they said, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved in thy house. So with you now, I don't know, I like to use this a lot because we got a lot of people who, wives may not be in the truth for husbands. But ultimately, it can be the possibility that by your good works can save your husband. It could be that case. Oh, yeah, kind of, 1 Corinthians 7:14, kind of. But your good works in doing what the Lord said could possibly save your husband. You never know. But I mean, it's in here that the Lord said that can be a thing that you can be redeemed. I mean, your husband could be redeemed and saved by your good works. But like you said, you still got to go hard for the Lord as well.
Ultimately, you got to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do to be that light. Right. So that's ultimately you got to be able to show that your works is pure. You got to make sure you're following the commandments and things like that, right? Right. So okay, can't bring that up.
This is the point that's the point I'm trying to drive home with the water. I had stopped a little early. It says, verse 14, for the unbelieving husband, like you said, is sanctified by the wife, right? It says, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Where else were your children unclean, but now are they holy?
See that?
Yeah, so by your husband not believing, he can be sanctified through you. So
can I still go to the church? tropical paradise whenever the Messiah get off his throne?
Well, that's why I brought out Acts chapter 16:31. He said, "Believe you in your house, and possibly he could be redeemed." And that's what, I mean, not me, but that's what the Lord said. I'm reading, not me, but in Acts 7, it's like in 1 Corinthians 7 and 14, it said the same thing. So we just speaking as a man through the understanding what the Lord showed. It could be that possibility by your words, though. Being that life for him, and possibly the Lord can. We never know. It's not. We can't give you that exact answer, but we can show you through the precepts.
He even recommended he go on a fast. Maybe tell him, let's just fast for 24 hours, right? No food, no water.
But sister, that's the thing. So what the brothers bring out, those are correct, but you gotta make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. So if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, because you're not in attire, and things like that. You don't have your fringes on. You just bought on the Sabbath day. So ultimately, you're not really doing what you're supposed to do. So that's what I'm saying. You got to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do, so it could trickle down and, Lord willing, save your husband through the Spirit. So he could be like, okay, I see my wife is trying to do better, do this, do that, and the Spirit could hop on him. So ultimately, work out your own salvation too. So it could ultimately trickle down to your husband, through the Spirit. Right? You got any more questions, sister? Lord willing, we can answer through the Spirit. That's what we're here for,
That's right.
Answer questions. Hey, sister, that's why we're here. You got to make sure that our people know these things, because we ain't being taught these things, right? So, you got a point, King? Okay, because we not being taught these things. We being taught. Let me get Galatians 1:8. You're being taught different than what the gospel say, right?
8. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel,
Preaching what?
preach any other gospel unto you, then that which we have received unto you, let him be accursed.
Let him be a what?
Let him be accursed.
So anybody saying anything contrary to what the gospel is saying, let him be accursed. Because going back to your the Christianity point, they don't teach these things. They don't teach you got to wear a dress as a woman. They don't teach you got to be in subjection to your husband. They don't teach the man that he got to do what he's supposed to do and provide for his home and build his woman up.
Because back in the day, in the 60s and 50s, we was doing our thing. Dresses and natural hair, and had our own businesses, doing our thing until all the extra stupid stuff came in.
Yeah, like this, right? Like Black Wall Street, right?
There we go.
Right, Black Wall Street. Yeah, we had all that. We had businesses. We was living up. We had everything, but wasn't in righteousness. So there you go, sister. It wasn't in righteousness. I'm led to believe man had I'm looking on this picture. Every man got a suit on and a tie. Literally. Where your fringes at? Are the women wearing fringes on their dresses? Right. So ultimately, that's the whole duty, of it. And like the brother said, that's going back to the curses, right? That's literally what Deuteronomy 28 and what 42. Land to thee and land to that. 44. That's how the curse is gonna be, right? And we're gonna continue to be in that state until what Christ come back. But we ultimately doing what? Let me get Judges 5 and 11.
Judges chapter 5 and verse number 11.
Right.
And it says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers, dwelleth like a drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
You rehearse what?
I'm going to read it over. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archer in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
So we were rehearsing the righteous acts of the Lord, right? Where we putting back in our fringes on, we keeping the memorial, the Passover, all the feast days. So these are the things that we come back to, of keeping our home as men, and then as women, doing what they supposed to do as they position, right? So it's a glue. It's a glue system, and you do what you're supposed to do, and we all do what we're supposed to do for the Most High. So that's how we do this thing, right?
So where we get the furniture from?
Etsy, Amazon, all type of things.
Amazon, 2 days.
Brothers got clothing companies and all different things.
Even the dresses?
dresses, hey, get your modest dress from Amazon, whatever, you know, as long as it's modest. Shein, you know, Shein and what's the other place that be, you know, Fashion Nova and all these different places. But you know, I don't know. I've never been to Fashion Nova, but hey, ultimately, hey, you can find dresses that's modest and you can style them up. Hey, put that drip on, like how we say, we the salt of the earth in this thing. We gonna make it look good, you know, because ultimately, because you know about fringes, right? Right. So you know why we wear fringes.
Kind of lost that one.
Let's get let's do numbers
Yes.
15. I want to start why we start wearing fringes in the first place. Yeah, come on.
This the book of Numbers, chapter 15, and verse 33. 32. It says, This is the book of Numbers, chapter 15, 32. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
Man, he was gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. Literally, just gathering sticks. Not buying nothing, selling nothing, but he literally was gathering sticks in the wilderness, right? In the wilderness.
And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and said unto all the congregation, and they put him in the inward because it was not declared what should be done to him.
So now they're trying to figure out what they should do to him, right? Continue.
And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be utterly put to death.
There should be what?
The man shall be utterly put to death.
So in the wilderness, they'll put you to death for if you doing anything on the Sabbath day. Even now. But now we got mercy, you got grace, and now you can repent and come back. But in the wilderness, you breaking the Sabbath, you get put to death. Just, you know, but continue.
Continuing none. It says, all the congregation shall stone him with stones within the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died.
So he died, right? So the fringes we have to wear, and let's get 38 King.
Verse 38. Numbers 15:38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
A ribbon of blue, not orange, not pink, not purple, scarlet. Gotta be blue, because blue was ultimately a royal color. It was hard to get blue in that time, right?
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord.
What?
Remember all the commandments of the Lord.
It's literally a physical reminder so you can look down and see it and say, I gotta keep the commandments of the Lord. It's literally a physical reminder, right? Continue on, King.
And do them.
And what?
And do them. And that ye seek not after your own heart, in your own eyes, after which you used to go a horn.
As you would go horn, mean going after other gods, doing things contrary to the word that the Most High gave us, right? Come on.
It says that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God.
And be what?
And be holy unto your God.
And that's what they for, sister. So ultimately, that's why the fringes are it's a big part. It's literally a commandment to keep the commandments, right? So, you know, ultimately, that's and the reason why we wearing I should say commandments, fringes. We wearing the fringes is because a man gathered sticks on the Sabbath day, and he got put to death. And God said, I love my people so much. Let me give them a reminder, a physical reminder where they can see it. They be like, oh yeah, commandments. I can't eat pork. Oh yeah, I gotta wear a dress. Yeah, let me love my wife. Let me love my husband. You know, things like that. So you gotta get you some fringes. Hey, don't eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. You got a precept, King?
And ultimately, when you're wearing fringes and you're around like-minded brothers and sisters that are wearing fringes, you have nothing to think about but the commandments, because you're seeing fringes everywhere you look.
Hey, come on. Hey, he did say be continuing with a godly man. Hey, you want to bring that? Hey, that's a commandment that's universal, sister. So like how you said, hey, that's a commandment everybody got to do. So that's one of the, so it's not like, hey, a man do it, no. And throughout your generations. Yeah, so, you got a precept. I didn't say that. I said it. I didn't say it yet. But ultimately, like the brother said, that's a good point. Let me get Acts Acts chapter 17 and verse 30. Right?
The book of Acts chapter 17 and verse number 30. It reads thus: in the times of this ignorance, God winked at it.
The time of your ignorance, God winked at it, right?
But now commanded all men everywhere to repent.
Now, sister, you just gotta repent now. Hey, repent and be re-immersed in the law. Be re-immersed in the commandments. Now you're a new creature in this thing. Now you're a new woman. Put off the old woman that you were and put on that new woman now, right? Continue on, King.
Because he have appointed a day in which he would judge the world in righteousness.
Right, so it's gonna be a day where he gonna judge the righteous. He gonna judge. I should say, judge the world in righteousness. So, and let's go back to Isaiah 66. Hey, he gonna plead with all flesh, and slain gonna be many. So ultimately, sister, hey, you gotta just repent and be converted and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. You got a question?
What is the name of your church?
What you mean? Oh, yeah, we Christians. We follow the law. We follow Christ. We Christ-like. We follow everything Christ did. What about you? Are you a Christian? You sure? What's your nationality?
Irish?
Oh, Irish. All right. Yeah. It's not for you, sister, ma'am. You'll be an Edomite according to the Bible.
That's right.
You'll be an Edomite according to the Bible. If you know anything about the Bible, you so-called Christian, you'll know that the Bible speaks about the Edomites and they will be destroyed.
Okay, so if I was, say, Italian, would I be?
You will be destroyed. Y'all the ones that crucified Christ. If you be Italian, y'all the ones that crucified Christ. If you will be Italian, but you say you're Irish. But ultimately, the Bible's not for
You
you.
mean because I'm a Gentile?
You are a Gentile, but you a heathen Gentile. A heathen Gentile. Ultimately, let's get. Nah, I don't deal with it. Y'all tell me your sister.
I'm happy for you guys. I mean, how do I want to say it?
You're not happy for us. We know how y'all feel.
At all.
Definitely am. And I just want to.
The lies, man.
Can I just say
Let me get Psalms 58 and 3.
God bless you guys.
Bring it out.
Lies.
Yeah, gladness, man.
You're a liar. We don't believe nothing you're saying.
Psalm chapter 58 in verse 3. The wicked are astray from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born. Speaking lies.
You what?
Speaking lies.
A damn liar. She don't like us. She don't love us. We know this, man.
That's right.
I didn't want to really converse with her because we got a sincere sister here. Ain't no time to be dealing with the heathen, man.
Teach y'all.
Because we here to build our nation up, man. We don't give a damn about y'all. Y'all in this world, man, they living large.
Right.
And we don't give a damn. We got a sincere sister here. They got. Go ahead, sister. It's all about you.
Was we the only race that was slaves? Or was it other races?
Well, we got this. Well, if you want to say race, as in like this new concept, no. We got the so-called Latinos, the so-called Native Americans, right? Brother, you got 5 minutes in the words of the Lord, brother? Hey, you know about that? What you know about that? What you know about that, brother? It's all true? Hey.
Brothers, one serve sold his birthright because of the rare stoop. The thing is, don't trade your inheritance that God gave you for nothing counterfeit. The thing is, this world is full of counterfeit.
Right.
You gotta always be mindful.
Can I ask you a question, brother? What's your nationality?
I'm Caribbean and Native American.
Okay. On your father's side or your mother? Which one is your father? Native? Okay, all praise it. Do you know, according to the Bible, that you will be an Israelite? How you know that?
Because guess what? The thing is, this is God's chosen people, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Benefits, right? There's a point in time, I believe it's in Deuteronomy, I want to say. I don't really know the exact number, but that's when God curses.
Deuteronomy 28, right?
Whoa.
Right.
Hey, come on, brother on fire. You know his history, man.
Now, what group of people is that happening?
Hey, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Bring it out.
We know about the history. It's plain.
It's slave, right?
It's plain.
And the thing is, right? We can even try to pick a point, like, okay, this person's more blessed, this group of people, but at the end of the day, it's all the human race, and that's all that God sees. You know what I mean? You gotta be careful, though. You know what I mean? 'Cause Christ is still the Lord.
What you mean about the human race and God cares about everybody? What you mean about that?
Because guess what? We're still His children. Then again, we're still His creation.
Who His children? So like, I don't want to cut you out. Who is His children?
Who is His children?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone here.
Everyone here as who? Like this, humans? Everybody in the world? Everybody in the world. Let's get Romans chapter 9.
And also, after this, it says, before you were even friends of God, people were enemies of God. Think about it like that. He said before you try to follow the sons, right? He said before you, I became your father, who was your father? Before you became saved.
Right. Right. This, like you said, everybody in the world is God's children. Let's get this real quick.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Bring it up.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Children of who?
O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known.
Only what?
You only have I known.
So God said He only know the Israelites, right? You got a precept, King?
Let me keep going on.
Okay.
Listen. Of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So He only punished His chosen people, which are the Israelites.
That's fine. So, hey,
Teacher.
You got a precept? What you got? Let me get Romans first, because he said everybody in the world is children. That's. Wait, hold on. Let me get this one precept real quick.
It's the book of Romans 9, verse number. I'm gonna start at verse.
Because I don't want you to leave and then you never probably never come back, and then you say that everybody in the world is God's chosen people. I mean God's children. But we gonna see. Come on.
Okay, Con, this is the book of Romans chapter 9 and verse number 3. For I wish that my...
Just get to, 7.
Con, this is the book of Romans chapter 9 and verse 6. Not as though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Neither because they are of the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
So he literally said, hey, not just because we all come from Abraham. It's Abraham, he deals with a chosen line, right? Abraham, Isaac, right? Continue.
Verse number 8. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, they are not the children of God.
So everybody else, hey, that's of the flesh, they not the children of God. Continue on.
Right, God, continuing on, it says, but they are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed.
Right, so we know when we could jump back up and show you who had the promise, right? Well, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So everybody that's not of that stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they're not the children of God.
Think about it like this, too, is even people are outside the will of God, too. You know what I'm saying? If you're outside the will of God, it means what? You're in bondage, right? I mean, it comes Romans 8 verse 16 and 15 right here. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption.
Let's get Romans 9 and 3. Right, I'm gonna answer that. Let's get Romans 9 and let's get Romans chapter 9 and start at the top.
Romans 9:3. For I wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren.
So Paul, he's saying, hey, I wish I could be accursed of Christ for my brethren, right?
For my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
According to who?
According to the flesh.
All know that Paul was an Israelite. No, he was an Israelite. He was a Roman citizen, but he was
an Israelite.
Right.
Because we could get that in Romans chapter 11, right? Let's get that from him so we ain't making nothing up.
Romans 11 verse 1. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite.
Also who?
For I also am an Israelite. Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
The tribe of Benjamin, right? So he was an Israelite, 12 tribes, right? So when you go back to Romans 9 and continue on, right?
God, Romans 9 and 3 again, it says, verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom pertained the adoption and the glory in the covenants, in the giving of the law, in the service of God and the promises.
But he said, hey, the adoption is in there too. So adoption is talking to the Israelites, not to everybody in the world. The adoption is literally for the Israelites, not the other nations. So not everybody could be adopted back in. Because even you can even go to Ezekiel 37 and it states why, what happened. Because it was a northern kingdom and southern kingdom, if you know about the history. Right, so if you know about this history of northern kingdom and southern kingdom splitting up, the Northern Kingdom, the Most High wasn't dealing with them. So what he's saying was, I'm gonna adopt them back into the fold. You can go to Ezekiel 37 and read about the two sticks being gathered together. So that's what the adoption is really going to. You got a precept, King?
Galatians chapter 4, verse 5.
Deuteronomy 76. Chosen.
Hey, ultimately, hey, bro, you be an Israelite, brother. You gotta repent and keep God's commandments. All right, people always say